Hey everybody, welcome. Gary here, Beth down there in that other corner down there. Gan Rogers to my right. Gan Rogers in camera tonight. This is very exciting. Yes. And everybody knows Kathy Ray, Needle in a Haystack right down there. So
Hey,
we
guys.
got a whole thing going on tonight. Now we're gonna this is kind of our start for the Mystery in Saint-Tropez project, and so we're going to devote the time tonight to that. And those of you who may not be interested in doing it, hang around for the second half, because it's going to be color on top of color, and you're going to get some ideas and some discussion about different color combinations, because Kathy's put together, I think, 3,000 combinations of colors for
Pretty
this
much.
project. I think it is 3,000 now. So
Yep.
hang around, because you'll learn some things, I'm sure, about color just by keeping your ears open. So do that. Now, so that's coming up. Now Sunday's guest is Lauren Yeager from the San Francisco School of Needlework and Design, and did the research today. Beth did some research today. Holy smokes, that woman's amazing. So
Yes.
yeah, join us for that. We got a little fashion, costume design, and construction, stump work, embroidery.
Japanese embroidery.
Yep. Wow. So Lauren Yeager on Sunday. Don't miss that one. No drawing tonight. No drawing tonight, because I want to devote as much time as possible to Gayanne and Kathy. Now, last week's winners, the Rainbow Gallery thread packs, you probably already have them. Kathy Renard, Beth McGuire, Teresa Vickers, and Valerie Trujillo. The needlepoint kits went to Judy Masur, Rick Mulway. A male won something. Check that out. Tracy Wallen and Kathy Shannon. And then the fractal was won by Diana Short, but she didn't give her address. Diana, you didn't give your address. I sent you an email last Wednesday night. I haven't heard from you. If I don't hear from you, say by tomorrow night, I'm going to do another drawing for that fractal chart and black canvas or black Ada cloth. So get to me quickly, Diana. I sent an email last Wednesday night. I need your address. Can't send it otherwise. So that's it for the announcement. So in conjunction with this show tonight, you're going to want to listen to today's midweek podcast, because Gayanne was our guest on that. And she thinks she did a terrible job, but she always does that.
I did.
And it was a fantastic discussion. And for that one, all the way to the end, because we got into other subjects that were equally fascinating. So be sure and catch that, because that's a nice combination with this show, where we'll have photos and you'll be able to see visually what we're seeing visually. That's kind of redundant. You'll be able to see what we were talking about. Now, down at the bottom of the screen.
Can you see unvisually?
Can you see unvisually? I'm not sure that you
see
can.
Unvisually?
No.
Okay, just checking.
I'll ponder that. I'll ponder that, Gayanne. Yes.
Okay.
Down at the bottom, needlestack.com. That's the Needle in a Haystack website. That's where you're going to get your threads and ground cloth for this project. And then the charts, all the instructions, charts, and instructions for finishing, you get at gayannrogers.com. If you go to gayannrogers.com, then there will be a link there to Kathy's page at Needle in a Haystack. So start at Gayanne, get your chart, then go to Kathy to see the now 3,240 combinations of colors.
No,
Kathy's working.
6,687.
I'm working on a variant of pie.
Yeah, see, it's happening. This is very dynamic, very dynamic. Yes.
Yes.
Hey, I'm a baker. I need pie.
Yeah. So okay, so we're just going to start out here, and let me get the photos up for this, and we'll talk about, Gayanne, you just talk about the project itself, and bear with me just a second while I work some technology.
Oh, wow, that looks,
There we go.
that other was really interesting.
Oh,
This is what everybody gets. Everybody does this much, and they're all the same. Of course, the colors will be different, but there's a center square, and then there are 8 arms that go out. And then the mystery starts. And here's just some of the alternatives. These are 3 of the corners and 3 of the insides. These show the beginnings of the corners, and then you choose which one you like, and then you can keep adding to it. You can stop where this picture is, or you can keep going. You can add all kinds of things. I've added a lot of options to these, but you yourselves can add a border around the whole thing, for example.
Okay, we're not
It's
we're
infinite.
not getting good sound here. You're breaking. Is she breaking up, Beth?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Gan, is your
What
jack pushed
do
all
you
the way
do?
into your computer?
Yes. Is this better?
Let's try that.
Yeah,
See if.
that was.
Yeah.
Okay, I moved closer. All right, should I start over?
No, that's okay. So what we're showing here,
Okay,
these are after you do this center section and put the arms in, then these are the options that you have for filling the 4 corners, right?
right. They are some of the options.
Okay.
Now, can you bring up Val's piece? Can you bring uh, that one? No, go that one. Now, look at that one. Now, turn back to the one of mine you just had. No, that's not mine. That's Sue's. All right, that's it. Can you see the lower left?
Down
Yes.
here,
See
yes.
what she had? Yes. All right. Now, if you look at hers, it's an embellished edition of that. See? She
Oh,
chamfered
yes.
the edge. You can also square the edge, or you can leave the edge ragged. Can you see how it changes?
Right.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
cool.
Now, if you go back, go to Sue's, that one. All right. Now look at the corner in this one. And now, Gary, can you go back to my corner? Can you see one there? No, you just went past it.
The
No,
other way.
other way.
That one.
There. Can you see that? Can you put the mark? See, it's that one. It's a variation on that one. Now go back to Sue's and you'll see how it's changed. See how the color changes it. See how the line changes it.
Yep.
All right. Now if you go to Kim's, there. Now
Wow.
look at the corner of this one. And now go to mine. And no more. And yeah, there. See which one it is? Only she squared it off. She added to this. Each one of these corners has 3 options. You can stop at a certain point. It says you can stop here. If you want to go on, then add this. If you still want to go on, then add the next part. So there are 9 options in all. And then spaces between corners, and stop with Sue's for a second. All right, now can you see her space between the corner? She rejected mine and borrowed an element from one of the ornaments and put it in there. And I thought that was way cool.
Yeah.
So you can choose and see see there it is. And she just put it in the center. There's
So
my,
you can really just
go.
mix and match.
You up to us. If you're brave, you can mix and match everything. If you're timid and a newbie and you want to make sure it all fits together with no working, then you choose one of my 3 and keep going. But you can mix and match and do and try, and as I said yesterday in Gary's podcast, the stitches are really basic. The trial comes in the design part. The emphasis is on, Kathy, see your colors. Imagine what your colors, how different they on their own would make all this look. Because you have value changes, you have lights and darks and mediums that change from my color combinations. And you can borrow this and add that and shop in your stash, or do what I really like, which is combine two of yours and pick and choose. All right, now, Gary, can you go one back? No, sorry, other way. Find Val's second ornament. There. She did this on a dark ground. All right, now go back one more. Same design on a light ground. And
Oh,
she put the two together so there's a back and a front. And the ornaments are full of little hidden things you can try, and you can incorporate them the way you did if you want. It's amazing from previous mysteries I've done. As long as you just do all four quadrants more or less the same, anything you do will work. It's not me, it's just magic. It's how color works, how line works. But this ornament, I didn't think of that, she did. And then she said the only thing she had to be careful about is that the nun stitch around the edge, you have to do the same color on both parts.
oh, that's the
So you
nun
can
stitch
see
that
she
I'm going to
did
do
that
that's so
group.
easy to make an ornament
That's
out
how
of.
you finish.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
a
not hard.
spastic finisher. So this takes 20 minutes and you're finished. Put the hanger on, make a twisted cord, and you're
Cracks me up every time
finished.
you say that,
It's,
Gayan.
I hate finishing. I hate sewing. I only like it when it's a group. Otherwise, forget it. I'm not interested.
I want to go
So
back to
see,
Gayan, I want to go back to this because we talk about how the stitches are not difficult. And I think that
no,
this photo is illustrative. There's nothing really complex here at all.
nothing. There's as a diagonal gobelin, and there's some Scotch stitch in there, and then there's some overstitching. But look it up in the look. At, yes, that one. Can you blow that up a bit, or is it not?
I can
Look
only
at
do so
that
much.
little motif in there. See, that's nothing but a diamond with a Smyrner's double cross stitch in it. They're all beginner stitches. I don't use much anymore that's not beginner stitches. I used to when I taught for the guilds.
Well, see, but I
But
bring this up because I'm hoping that new people will give this a try. People who've never done counted canvas work will give this a try, and not be intimidated because it's you look at something like that and you go, wow, that's there's a lot going on there. But if you look at that and look at the stitches and then go back to this, there's just nothing complex about it, and it really is
and
relatively a fast stitch because you cover so much ground with the stitches.
you do. All right, now look at where you were. Now move one to the right in the picture. That one. All right, look at these big chunks of, see that? That's just slanting Gobelin stitch.
Right,
Once you get the first, hard to count the first one. Once you get the second one, you're moving up one stitch, so you don't have to count. You have to count the first one. Then you just stay one hole all the way up, and there's nothing to it.
right.
If somebody who's really a newbie wants to do this, she's better getting an extra piece of 18 mesh and practicing before she starts.
Right.
It's
Yeah, and
simple.
this is
And
all on 18. This is on 18 that Gayan is doing all this.
Right.
Yeah.
and I
Unusual
have to
for me.
say,
I'm a Congress cloth
a lot
person.
of having done a lot of Gayans, her charts are just so easy to follow. They're, up at 1, down at 2. I mean, no
That's it.
guessing, no nothing. You hold our
If you're
hand,
going to
Gayan.
do one of my designs, you got to be able to count from 1 to 10. 11 to 20 is helpful, but not necessary. That's it.
Okay. Well, I can
Now,
do
where
that.
the magic comes in, I tell you, I opened up my email when Kathy sent me those colors and I went nuts. I had 2. I'm not even making this, and I had to buy 2 of them. I ordered them.
I've actually had more than
They
one
were
person
just
order 2 of
beautiful.
them.
Well, I
Really?
talked a lot about ordering 2. I don't know that it resonated with anybody. They might have just done it, but
It
look
did
at
with
switch
a
back
couple
to
of people, yeah, and they picked very different colorways. And at least one person said they were planning on making one for themselves and one for a friend. One was like they were going to do an ornament one as a gift.
well, the ornaments take the little one takes half a day plus 20 minutes to finish it. Takes a little bit longer to make the back. If you don't make the back, then you're put felt or what's, oh, gosh, I'm on a senior moment. Ultra suede
You could
Wool?
put,
on the
I was going to
back,
say,
Oh,
you
okay.
and
could
you
put
just
ultra
cut it
suede
out
on the
and you're
back.
done. Ultra suede would be really pretty. But look at this one. All right, now think in terms of what Val did with the ornament. Imagine what it would look like with the ground were bright or dark.
Right.
And you
Even if you
can
use
see
like
the
move
magic
to
of
like
it
a,
happens.
even if you use like a
That's
more
the
buttery
light. Move the
yellow.
next one. Yes, that's one of my favorites. Now, see, you did that. If you've got a lot of bright color, you need to have some contrast. So it takes on, if everybody did the same thing and everybody chose a different one of Kathy's colors, they would all look individual. So imagine what they look like when you get all these elements in it.
Right.
I had a great time. I didn't make one, I just doodled. I didn't want to make one because I knew my regular followers would say, "Which one did you do?" And you owe it to us to show us it, and then we'll do exactly what you did. And I said, defeats the purpose. So I didn't make one.
This
That's
one,
it.
this one is really, I really like this one. I don't know why.
This one's beautiful, I think. They all are so distinctive, and it's hard to think it's the same. See, there's her flower. See the flower on the edge of the ornament? All right, now go back to her. Oh no, it's wrong one. That's the flower that Sue used in her center. See that flower around the edge? That's
Right.
what she picked up. It's I I don't know where it is.
Right there.
No, it's that one, the big one. Can you find it? One more back, I think. There, that.
Yes.
All right, can you increase the size? See the flower right there? I didn't think of that. She did.
Right there. Yeah.
See, right. See, that's off the ornament. I think it's a great idea. I love it when people do stuff like that. And see the value change?
Yep.
That's a real important ingredient.
So the overall message is you start with this.
Yes.
Everybody does this in whatever color combination.
If you don't want to do that, you can do something else in there. But
Yeah.
I planned it so that you'd put that in the center. See, there it is for Sue. Now, if you keep going, you'll see Val's and Kim's. There's Val's. She might have changed it a bit. She changes everything. That's why I like what she does. And then there's Sue's. Sorry,
Kim's.
Kim's. Yeah. Everybody on my website, everybody on Facebook loved this one. And I think
I think you've got,
I don't remember if she modified it a bit or not. But see, there are those flowers all over again. So if you get
Which
a
makes it
blank
almost look
spot
kind of like a
and you
Tudor
think,
rose.
What?
I said the
Sorry.
color and the way she used the flowers kind of makes it look like a Tudor rose almost.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? And she could, now if you want to be inventive and you like that flower, just you want a little bit larger in a place, just add a couple of rows. It's basically a Scotch stitch. So it's really, it's not hard. I've done hard in my life, but I can't see why I keep doing it. I'm too old to do hard any longer.
But now, yeah, if you look at this, this is really all quite simple to execute.
This is all there is to the whole pattern. Look at the white. That's a diagonal mosaic stitch. Pat a diagonal mosaic stitch. You don't have to pat it if you don't want to. And then the next are just straight, and then they have cross stitch over stitchings and a little bit the gold border inside. And then you've done a little diagonal stitches, 3 it looks like on the top of it. That's it. And then in the center, it's a double cross stitch and a outline, a diagonal outline, and then there's nothing to it.
Right.
But it comes to life. Kathy's the one who's going to make it come to life.
Well, I'm not so sure
Can't
about
you
that.
see? Yeah, those the what you put together will make it come to life. You got different colored. Look at this. This is standard. What's this going to look like when it gets on purple with all the red on the top? It's going to look entirely different. And that's the back.
Well,
That
and I think
takes no time.
that's one of the things that's important for people to know is that you treat the canvas color just as an element of the color of the project, just like you do the threads.
It definitely is. And look at these are my ornaments. And you know what? It's all the same thing. I might have, it looks like I added a row in the little one somebody left out. See, it didn't matter. Just changes it. One of the things that bothers me about needlepoint is that we're all still in school. We got A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's. And everybody's worried they're not going to get an A. And there is no A, there is no B. It's just different.
And those ornaments would stitch up
That's the message
quickly.
of this. Those ornaments, the little one takes no time. I stitched about 4 of them, I think, just on scraps. The other thing you could do, hold on, let me run this one by you because this would be cool. See the big one? Make 4 of those. One lower left, make a quadrant out of each one, and then add a little center. And you could make them in the different colors. Just the same, you have a little rainbow looking item. That would be really fun. That's why, Kathy, I like the idea of putting all your colors together.
Oh, well,
I
the
think
canvas
one ought to
colors.
buy one of everything. All the everything. And
So, Gayanne, you have the same issue.
again.
You have the same issue I have. You
Yes.
want all of the threads Kathy has.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Well, if you're
Let's
only
look at
making the ornaments, you don't need as much of everything either. So then you
Right.
can
No.
play with it a bit more. Yeah.
I'm trying to talk Kathy into selling a small piece of each of the colors as a single pack. And then you raid her colors and your own stash, and you get all your Christmas ornaments done in no time. And you've had all this color experiment fun.
Yeah, she wants a colorful canvas pack.
Oh.
Yeah, I do.
And there are actually other colors of canvas I didn't even pick, so.
Well, there's some, but in addition, if you think about it, one of the really nifty design ideas is to take a different color and just use white or echro on it and watch how different it gets. Or if the canvas is light, use a dark. But that's all.
Okay, we have a
There
couple
are
of
so
questions
many
here.
little design lessons in this.
Okay, first one is from Sandy. She wants to know what threads are used in this project.
Okay, that's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
And
talk
then
about that.
we'll talk about that in a minute. And then how do you decide on which color of canvas to use? That's from Josie.
That's coming up too.
Which one do you like?
Okay. Ah,
Let's matter of fact, let's just go there.
Can
you're getting
we,
people
yeah,
anxious
let's
about
do
it.
all these. Oh yeah, well that's the fun.
So I started
Now look
with
at the
when Gayanne
possibilities
asked me
in
to
these.
do this, I started with the canvas colors. So we carry all of the colors that Swagart makes. And so I just rated the bins and I would take a piece and I'd go stand in front of the wall that the watercolors is on and go, I wonder what this would work with. So that's why there are some colors like the aquamarine where when I got the first batch done, there were 32 different colorways. I actually narrowed it down to 16 because you can't order that many threads and get them these days. But I
Uh,
used the canvas as the thing to base it off of. So if you liked these colors, but you didn't necessarily like the canvas color, even if you did it on ivory, you would get a really lovely but very different looking piece.
Kathy,
or darker.
Let me just quickly go through the combinations up to the Congress cloth, and then we'll come back, and then people will have a sense
Okay.
of what's at play here.
And the names on here are is actually the name of the canvas color.
And
Okay.
that's bluer, isn't it? Is it a lighter
It is
blue?
actually a little bit bluer. It tends to photograph kind of gray. It's closer to the color of the pepper
Yeah,
pot in the photo.
And
yeah.
this is the pepper pot here.
That's one
Yeah,
of my
that's the pepper pot.
favorites.
And the
Oh, that's
Levantine blue
beautiful.
is more of a medium blue, whereas the aquamarine is definitely more of a turquoisey tealy color. Santa Fe sage, again, this is one of those that photographs kind of gray, but it's really a sage green.
That Santa Fe Sage A is the one you just sent me. I love that. This
And
my
then this
friends
is
went
lilac.
crazy
This is
about.
lilac. I've had a number of people ask about this one because the lilac canvas isn't actually manufactured anymore, but my supplier still had a boatload of it. So that was one of the reasons why I picked it. And purple is personally my favorite color. So,
I like that one.
I
and
like
then
that
this
one
one, I
too.
thought you could kind of go more towards I think of A as sort of Victorian boudoir. And then the Victorian red bee is kind of more party.
Kathy, can you go back one? Or Gary? These two, I saw these two and I thought they begged to be put together. This and the red.
Oh, this
You could
with
have
the
Oh
so
red.
yeah.
much fun. Oh yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
Oh
could have
yeah, that would
so
be lovely if you
much
did like a
fun.
front and a back with them.
Oh yes.
Yes.
That would be cool.
And it would
I
be
keep thinking
just
black canvas.
such color lessons. And black, Beth, you're right. Black would be great. Black would be great with a Victorian day,
Mm-hmm.
I think. It's just got so many possibilities. And butter
And
A is
butter
my
is
other
kind of
one.
it's not a super bright yellow, but it's a fairly bright yellow canvas. So it pairs well with more of the sort of earth tone fall kind of colors.
I think that's beautiful.
And I had to do something that would sort of the top one is really the one I thought for me was kind of more almost Halloween, but not quite. Because I think of
I
purple
thought
and
it would be fun
orange
to add
and
black to that.
yeah. Or you could even add something like a lime to it to really make
Mm-hmm.
make it
Uh-huh.
seem more Halloweeny.
Or
Right.
both black and lime.
Yeah.
And I could see that like a chartreusey. What is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Really electric
That almost acid
green.
green. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A skein
Mm-hmm.
of that and a skein of black.
And
Mm-hmm.
it just not a lot, just a little bit of that, because you
Right.
wouldn't want to overpower it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
look at
you wouldn't
what
want it
both of
necessarily to
those
be the
would do
main color.
together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just interesting.
So
But
Josie,
imagine the
you can
difference
see.
this would be to mine.
Yeah, Josie, you can see
Imagine what would
how
happen to it.
Go ahead, Gayan.
Oh, I put a pumpkin in the middle of it. I take my square out, put a little jack-o'-lantern, and then
You could.
I put or black cat, something like that.
Mm.
But Josie, to
This
your
one I went
question,
nuts over butter A. I want a butter A and the sage green A.
And they are kind of related just because there is that sage that's in the butter A for the thread. So
Right. I would plan on humping them together.
so so
yeah, that'd be
I
lovely.
love both, but I particularly liked A.
Kathy, take us through how you built these. Start with the watercolor and then the canvas and build from there, or how did it go?
So I started with the canvas, and then I went and stood in front of the watercolors wall. We hang most of our threads in the shop, so it makes it really easy for me to just stand there and pull things and go, yeah, no, oh no, that doesn't work.
For for those who don't
And then once I
know
found,
what the
and then once I found the watercolors, then I went to find colors that were close to the color of the canvas for the sort of tonal part of it. And then started looking at Kreinik threads to figure out what would go with what's in those dye lots. So, for example, the dye lot that Gayanne has or had when she did her original Saint Tropez had purple in it, and none of mine have purple in it. So her colorway didn't work the same when I tried to put it together because the dye lot had changed so much over the intervening time. And that's, I think of that more as a feature than a bug. So like
It's
there's a
interesting
little
because you
bit of
can add the
there's
purple
a little
back
bit of
in.
purpley bits in there, but in mine, in my dye lots, there's no purple at all.
But you can get another one and add it in. You can get another
You
pupper
can, yeah,
watercolors,
yeah, and
put it in there.
we've had that discussion about maybe adding something.
Right.
And then once I got the basis built, then I started playing with. So the reason I ended up with more than 30 colorways was that for most of these, there was actually probably 8 versions of aquamarine. And it depended on the Splendor or the Soie d'Alger color or the Kreinik colors. And I kind of picked the ones that I thought might have the most appeal. And given that supply chain issues are still a significant factor, trying to do 32 colorways would make trying to get the thread out of Kreinik a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So in each of
But
these,
it's just kind of a fun thing to do, to play with it.
yeah. So in each of these, we have a DMC pearl, a pepper pot, watercolor, some kind of a rainbow gallery, and some Kreinik. Then.
Close. It's
Basically, you
either
can
pepper pot or
change.
vineyard silk. Yeah, it's either pepper pot or vineyard silk. It depended on what went best with the canvas.
Okay.
And then the silk color that's the accent is either Splendor or Soie d'Alger, depending on what worked with with that particular watercolor. Because sometimes I will find, it's one of the reasons we carry a lot of different brands of silk, is sometimes you'll find a color in one brand that is perfect for a piece, but you can't find it in anything else. So, I used them pretty much interchangeably in that sense.
Yeah.
And these are all done on 18 mesh, so they are using the same weights of thread that Gayanne did her original piece with, which is different than the discussion we're going to have about Congress cloth in a bit.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see the Soie d'Alger down here in each of these there.
Yeah, yeah.
What I
And
did with mine, I wanted the yellow from the Saint Tropez, but it wasn't in really good cuts. I needed more of it, so I cut it all out of mine and put it back in Soie d'Alger.
Oh, yeah, I like
You
that.
can do that too, because then you get consistent color you can use. And if you were born as Betty Chen Lu, you wouldn't use any overdyes at all. You just make your own. But good luck.
Now, Gayan, talk about when you say combining two. take people through what's in your head about combining colors. Well,
Can you put the red and the purple together?
no,
Can they go up together?
that's
No.
all I can do.
Okay. All right, let's
Sorry.
start with the purple. I don't know which canvas I'd use, so I'd get to, I mean, you don't have to do this. But Gary, you're asking me what I'd do.
Right.
I'd get extra piece of the purple canvas and an extra piece of the red canvas. And then I would just monkey around, see what. So for example, go to the red. All right, let's take the top one, Victorian Red A. All right, now go back to the purple. Those are all pretty much reds. There's a red in there. And look at what the purples would do combined with the reds. So if you're doing the pattern and you've got one of these stitches of mine that just is slant Gobelin stitch, you do purple slanting Gobelin stitch and then say, oh, well, here I go, and add some of the red.
Okay, so basically,
Whereas the area is solid, you just play.
yeah,
I
okay.
think that, think of little kids. Think of little kids in school. Nobody told them they couldn't do it. The school marms tell them. But till then, they can draw and paint and do all this. And if you just access the kindergartner left in you, even if you're old, there's some in there, and then you just play. You just say, I'm going to see what happens. And it's not wasted. Stitchers tend to think it's all wasted time. How is something creative that helps you grow a waste of time?
Well,
It's
now,
the most valuable
yeah,
time.
but now I'm seeing, when you describe it, I'm seeing now buying Victorian Red A and Lilac A and just
Yeah.
laying those threads out and then just trying. I see now what you're seeing.
And then I think what you're going to need ultimately, if you do that, is some light value of something. And you got that in your stash, I promise you. There's no stitcher doesn't have something light.
Yeah.
Ecru, whatever. Some pale purple, who knows? And
Well, and like
most
even
of
for the
all,
lilac
probably
A, if you
something you
didn't
haven't
like
thought of.
the rust I picked, you could pick a pink.
No, yeah, you could do that, but you could just go get something out of your stash that's light and add
Right.
it if you felt it needed it. If you don't, fine. There are
And
no
I think,
rules. There are no needlepoint police. Well,
and
they
here's the
think
other
they
thing.
are, but the rest of us don't.
Couldn't you add, I'm thinking like it would be fun too, even doing it on a white piece of canvas too, or maybe
Yes.
an ecru, because then, you've not, because again, you've got all that, like if you're starting with the purple and that's going to be what you're going to use as your base, it might become too
We
much.
might start with the
And that way
red.
you'd have a nice,
The other thing,
right.
let me throw something else in here, okay? You know how to do nun stitch?
Oh yeah, that's easy. The
Yes.
nun
Stitch
stitch. Oh
stitch
yeah.
a square, stitch the square, see stitch that, put nun stitch around it and apply it onto the red canvas as a center and start with that. Take one of the ornaments and put it in there instead. We're talking about that's different, but what I hope people begin to start this creative journey where they think, what if I tried this and I've got all the canvas and I've got the thread and I've got an afternoon to play. So why not just think about playing? So me, I'm getting butter A and I'm getting that sage green one. And I won't tell you what I'm going to do with them because it would freak
Oh,
out
teasing
half
us.
the people. Well, I'll tell you some. I'm going to make a sun. It's the source of the sun that I'm going to make that freaks everybody out. So I'll borrow it and you'll notice it, and I won't tell you. So look at what she's done for me. Can you go back to the sage? There's the butter and there's the sage. All right, look at A here. Now flip back and you'll see that it's brighter. The butter is brighter. Look at what she's given me. She's given me a great orange, a lot of yellow, I don't know what that color is, but it's a nice neutral. All right, now go back to the sage and look at how I can temper what I want with this.
Mm-hmm.
She's got that beautiful tan, and she's got everything I need, and I probably add some ecru or some white. And then I've got the makings, the beginnings of a jeweled sun, which is what I want to make. Flowered jeweled sun. Face, pretty face.
Huh.
And I look at them, and then when I get finished with that, then I'll take all this, which I won't use in the piece, and make a geometric out of it that somewhat echoes the sun. I'll make the other on Congress cloth. But if you get these colors and you build the library and you put them in a baggie and you say, I see this. And then you think that way. Gary gave me a list yesterday which said, where do inspirations come from? That's how they come. You got to do a little legwork. And when you see somebody like Kathy putting all these colors up, look at shopping not only for this, but in general for some things you might want to do. I know this is probably people are going, oh, no, I'm involved in this, but that's where my mind goes.
Well, and see, this is why I'm excited about this project, is because there's so many options here. Even if you just pick a colorway that Kathy's put together, there are so many different ways you can do this
Right.
structurally. So that's one aspect. You can take that aspect, or you can do what we've been talking about, which is get a couple of colorways, play around with them, buy one and adjust from your stash, any number of things there, or you can do both.
The
You can,
important part is giving yourself permission to play.
right.
Put yourself back in
Yeah.
kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Sharon A has a comment that I thought you might like to hear, Gayan. She said, she can't pick just one. I may do mine on perforated paper and make into ornaments. I like the blues and the lilacs, the little red, aqua. I think I want a little bit out of various thread kits. Sharon, a woman after my own heart.
Yes, and there's the seeds of it. There's somebody who, if she warms up, she's just going to take off.
Mm-hmm.
And with some
Mm-hmm.
perforated paper, great.
Mm-hmm.
I love perforated paper.
Yeah,
But I think
it's nice.
there's so many seeds in me. I talk about, you don't have to combine them. You can make whatever you want out of them. I'm trying to give you permission to say, do what you want.
Yeah.
Try it.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Now, I
Beth.
have
That's the important part.
can I
Try
tell
it.
just one tale? Can I tell a story? It's one of my favorite stories. A friend of mine wrote me, and she said, "Does this go with this? Does some silk color go with this criny braid color?" And I wrote back to her, and I said, "Beats me. Try it and see." She said, it was my year's teaching. She said, "You don't know, you're supposed to know. You're the teacher." And I said, if the immortal artists of the Western world don't know without trying, how can I, mortal needlework teacher, know?
Yep.
So think of Leonardo and flying. That's what I think of all the time. Think of his illustrations, just trying to figure it out. So you can be a Leonardo Jr. Gary, that's a good idea for you.
Yeah.
Be
Okay.
Leonardo
Yeah.
Jr.
All right, Beth. Which one of these
Okay, I'm
which
done.
one of these are you starting with, Beth?
Oh my goodness, that is so tough. I
It is hard.
I was gonna have I was gonna ask Kathy to either pick me the most popular or the least popular, and I would go with it, and then go from there, and play with it with my stash.
Okay.
I really
Okay.
think because I'd like the challenge. I'm thinking I'd like the challenge. I'm thinking even I want the least popular one, and the only reason for that is then I can say, okay, this was not popular. Maybe people didn't see the possibilities in it. How can I make this sing?
That'd be good for you.
It'd be a
Yeah,
good
that would
I
be
think
fun.
challenge.
that'd be interesting.
Okay, so what's yours, Gary?
You're not going to believe this. One of these.
Really?
I love those.
Oh, excellent.
One of these, but we haven't looked at the Congress cloth yet. But
Oh,
if I do it on 18
Hmm.
count, it's one of these. It's not. I know you figured I'd go blue, but no,
yes.
no, one of these.
Okay, which one do you like? Which do you like better, the bottom with the or the
No,
one with the orange on the top?
if if
Oh,
if I had to choose right now, it would be butter A.
Yeah,
ooh,
that's the one of
interesting.
those two that I happen to like the best, partly because I really like fall colors. And that one sort of speaks to me as sort of a crossover between summer and fall.
Yeah, and I want to see it
Summer
on
sun and
ecru.
the
I want to
fall
see it on
edging
ecru.
into it.
Oh, on egg group.
Yeah, you could do it
Hmm.
on ecru as well.
I
Kathy,
think
could you get these colors to fit on Congress cloth? Can't you get isn't it, what's the name
I
of the overdyed?
everything it would have to get switched to water to wildflowers, and
Yeah,
the colors get
yeah.
more muted in that thread.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
Aren't you
can.
just cursing me for thinking of that? I think the
Yeah,
majority
I
of
just
people
have to
like
have a
18.
conversation with Karen Collection about availability, which is always the issue these days.
okay. Here's what Kathy put
Right.
together today for Congress cloth.
Oh,
I think that's very
So
interesting.
I
Explain
still
about the
have
Congress cloth.
so I happen to really like Congress cloth. It's a 24 count, and if you're stitching with the normal Congress cloth, it's actually pretty stiff. But I actually lucked into last year. One of my distributors, who's also a good friend, found a bolt of 1980s or 1970s linen Congress cloth in their warehouse. And I took the entire bolt, which was like 50 meters. I still have about 20 yards left of it. And the color is not the same as either cream or um, as ivory is in the regular 18 count. It's a softer sort of color. And because it's made from linen as opposed to cotton, it feels more like fabric than like canvas.
Hmm.
So I decided that I wanted to do some that you could do on Congress cloth. And given it's 24 mesh, it means changing every single thread because there's just enough of a difference with the weights that trying to do it in the same ones would prove problematic. And I also decided that I wanted to do essentially equivalent of it's essentially a rainbow gallery version because I have a little bit easier time getting supplies out of them or at least knowing what they have in stock. So I had a conversation with them yesterday when I started with colors and went, so can I get more of these? And they went, yes, we can pull them for you. So I started with the Bravo. Bravo is thinner than watercolors. A single strand of Bravo is thinner than a single strand of watercolor, so it works great on 24 mesh. In fact, that's what I've been sitting here stitching on while we've been talking. Um, and it's one of the only ones that it's the only one I can get that is in fact actually stranded. So like the wildflowers is a single strand. So if for some reason you wanted to use two of it, it's really, really hard to do because you have to figure out how to align the colors. In this case, because it's a four ply, if you wanted a little section to be a little thicker, rather than taking it down to one ply, you could take it down to two. So
Hmm.
I started with the Bravo, and then I needed to figure out how to swap out. So everything has to get thinner. So what was Pearl 5 in the 18 mesh now has to be the equivalent of Pearl 8. What was Pearl 8 now has to be the equivalent of 12. what was the background, what was the color for like either the pepper pot or the vineyard silk also has to be thinner. And then rather than going through another round of trying to get stuff out of Kreinik, I decided to find a different path. And that led me to Silk Lame and Petite Treasure Braid. So Silk Lame comes in 3 weights. And the thinnest weight, which is Silk Lame Petite, which is the middle one there, yeah, the blue one, that's a silk that's got a filament woven twisted into it when they manufacture it. So you get the sparkliness of a metallic, but it's not quite as sparkly as a straightforward metallic. And a silk pearl and the Silk Lame Petite works fine on Congress cloth. And then the Treasure Braid Petite is thinner than a Kreinik number 4. So it would work in place of the number 4 for the slightly thinner one. And then the spool that's there is Swab 100. That's an Avera swath thread. So you could use either 1 or 2 strands depending on how thick you wanted a particular stitch to be. And then I picked Grandeur and Subtlety for the base colors that match the canvas. They are all, so Elegance, Subtlety, and Grandeur are all silk pearls as opposed to cotton pearls. So they have a different sheen to them than cotton does. Certainly there's not the wide range, as huge a range of colors, particularly in the Subtlety, because it's a line they've been discontinuing. But since I needed mostly neutrals, they were able to raid their stash for me.
All right,
So
Arlene
I
has a
started with
question.
the broad. Uh-huh.
Real quick, how about Gloriana silk or silken colors for the overdyed?
It's a stranded silk, and getting Gloriana would be a 6 to 8 month wait.
That'll take care
Ooh,
of that.
yeah, real
Do you
quick.
know,
That's
using,
not to
can I
say
make 2
you couldn't
suggestions
use a
about
stranded
this?
thread and do it, but you would have to pull it from your stash because there's no way I'd get it.
When you're looking at, what's the 24 count called, the equivalent of watercolors? The one
Wildflowers.
that's just wildflowers.
Oh, you mean
Do you know how it comes in a
the
hank?
wildflowers
Don't
is the
cut
thinner
it.
version of a pearl, and then water
Right.
lilies is the silk version.
When you get these watercolors, doesn't matter what they are. I learned the hard way. Don't cut them into strands. Roll them into a knitting ball. And then say you have a single strand, you can pull it apart. Chances are pretty good you can match it if you want to. But if you cut it into strands, you're stuck. And buy always twice what you need. Sorry to throw that
But yeah,
in.
I did consider other options for threads for the Congress cloth, but I opted for the path of least resistance in terms of supply chain. You know, if this were something we were going
That's
to do in a
good.
year, then all
Ooh,
bets
I
would
like
be off.
those. I like those, but that's me.
Which one? Which one did you like, Anne? Go back.
All of them.
The
Those right
130.
there. No,
This one's 60.
one
The
forward.
blue.
One blues.
This,
Anything? No, you just skip there. That no.
he's making us dizzy.
No. That one.
130. This one?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, the 130 is the blues.
Well, I
Yeah,
like
very
blue,
pretty.
so what am I going to do? Choose blue. I like all those together. And then I pick and choose. And I throw a couple more ecrus in there too. But probably a white too. If it's not a hard
Yeah, you could
white,
certainly do that.
give a little bit of lift.
Okay, so
But
say
those are,
say
I
that
think
again.
those are
So, Gayan,
beautiful.
you would buy each of these 4 combinations, and then just lay them out on the table.
Well, you
Throw in.
could choose one if you're not me. I'd buy them all. Then I'd lay them out on a table and I'd look at them and I'd get a doodle and I'd stitch a few stitches.
Yeah.
And I'd see right away that for me, I'd want some white. I'd want not a, there's a, like pearl cotton 12 white. It's just too white. That grandeur white is really nice. It's got a gray to it. And a gentle ecru, maybe. And I don't know, everybody has that. in their stash, so you don't need it. I like those. If I had to pick one, probably out of these, I'd probably pick the left, which tends it looks to me like aqua, and I use aqua and everything.
Yeah, so the two on the left, the only difference is the color of the SWA is the color of the SWA 100 it's paired with. The rest
Yeah,
of the threads
okay.
are the same.
Well, then I'd say to you, Kathy, send me both of the 103s.
Yeah, I was gonna say in that case you would just get one and say send me, and then send me the extra
Right,
103. And the
right.
103 also comes in some nice sort of neutral colors if you
It
were
has,
so inclined to do
it
that.
has really, I love 103, but I'm a Congress cloth person.
So
And
Gary,
you pull
can
the
you
thread
switch to
in
me
that
for a
too.
second?
Yes. Wait. Start that over, Kathy. When I switched, it muted. Just go back
Oh,
to.
okay. So Gayan had asked me to find a couple of Bravos that were kind of more in the neutral range. Not quite tone on tone, but close. So this one has a sort of pale teal. It's got a little bit of a not quite sagey green in it. It's got a little taupe. It's got a little sort of creamy gold. So you could pair it with a number of things. So I was thinking of pairing it with, for one of the accent colors, this blue, which is a little bit lighter than the tealy color that's in it. And then I
That's
also
really
used,
pretty.
in the little test thing I'm doing, one of the SWA 100 colors that I picked for one of the other ones. So you can do
Hold the
it with
sample up again.
pretty much anything.
Can you hold the sample and the colors all together? That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's just a wonderful
yeah.
sequence. Ooh,
So
put
I
that one
just tested
together.
it to make sure that the colors would look okay.
Yeah, they do.
But then
Or
I
don't you
also,
mean?
They
but
do.
then I also picked, if you wanted really tone on tone. So if you wanted really just ecru's, there's this one.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
And this
pretty
is
too. That'd be
entirely
beautiful on
taupey
there.
creamy ecru's. There's nothing else in it. So if you wanted visions of not quite white work, this would be a good option because you'd get a nice color combination, and it would pair really well with the Congress cloth because the
Oh
Yeah,
Congress
yeah.
cloth
that's
has
Oh
pretty.
my.
that
Look at that.
ivory
Now
color.
just put a gentle aqua in there, and you got me.
Yeah, I'd have to see if I can find one, but yes, I think I probably can. So this is how we keep our this is my drawer of elegance. So this is what
Okay.
I go to when I was looking for the Congress cloth version for the elegance. I just sort of pulled out colors and went, oh, I wonder if this will work. It's
Ooh,
kind
this
of what
has
you do.
been really fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm not quite done with the colorways for Congress cloth. The ones I picked, I did confirm that Rainbow Gallery actually has the threads, which was kind of the important part.
Right.
So this is the blue one that you were talking about, Gayan. This is the one with the sort of purpley blues in it.
And that's pretty.
So
There's that
these
one
two would
fake.
be the color close to the canvas, and then these are really all the accent colors, along with, in this case,
Can you
you
hold
could do this or you could
1,
do the other.
2, 3 from the green? Pour that one down. There's a. It's like
Which
the
one?
third one. It's a third one. Hold it up again. Not
Oh,
like me
go back to the
bossing.
picture, Gary, so I can figure out which one it is. Because I have the threads here.
It looks like
So that's
it's the one on the far left,
yeah, that
the lightest
is,
one.
Whoops.
let me find the other half of the threads. I have them all in bags so that I can kind of keep them straight.
I think Gayan's shopping is what she's doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that might be
no,
true.
Beth, what
Yeah.
would make you think that?
Okay, so if I swap out,
I want all the ecru's with that blue. See what it looks like. Just
okay, so this
just
is
because.
so this is the other one with one of the tealy colors. If you want to switch back to me, Gary.
Okay.
So that's the same set of Bravo, the same set of grandeur and subtlety, but then these three colors in the middle,
Okay,
the blues, these are now more of an
okay,
aqua and a sage. And then this is what pairs with it, which is the darker tealy color, which is a darker variant
okay.
of
Now
what's in here.
I'm going to throw away the green, throw away the Bravo. Now hold them up. Throw away the next one, and then I want to see
So
them
just
again.
those guys?
No, I want that one thrown away, and I just want that blue, the aqua color.
Oh, the dark
It's
blue?
the petite. No,
The treasure braid. I think she just
um,
wants to see the treasure.
treasure
Oh,
braid.
yeah.
Throw that.
So that's the
Yeah,
treasure
just
braid.
that one. All right, now put that with all the ecru's. You had a
Oh,
handful of ecru's.
yeah, I do. So if you did it
I'm
just
sorry.
with
Beth's
no,
right.
no,
I'm
no, I'd
shopping.
have to
I'm
go and get a
laughing.
few more possibilities. But so this is the Bravo ecru. So there is a tiny bit of color change in it.
To your right.
Let me get it
Okay.
in the right spot. Yep, I know. I
Yeah,
always
but
have to figure out where it is.
there was
And then
one that
this
had the
is,
multi-ecru.
and then these are the other colors that would go in it. So you could certainly do it in more of an ecru based thing and just have the blue
And
be,
then there was one that
have
was a
one of these.
Bravo that had a whole bunch of different ecrus, or neutrals. I'm confused.
Yeah, it's got more, well, it's actually got, the Bravo is actually darker in it. It's got more neutrals for the other
Yeah,
bits.
okay. Let's see
So
that.
those are a possibility as well. I need to put these back where they go. Otherwise, I won't be able to figure
Sorry.
out which bag they go. No, 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 you're fine.
I was about to say it's
But
going to
yeah,
take
I mean,
I
take
just
you an
have to
hour
look.
after we get
you
done
can
here just
certainly
to.
play. Yeah, you can certainly play with all of these by just modifying even one thing, um, so that you've got more color options. Let's see, that one's the dark one. Yeah, the rest of
You
these are
put them
mostly
back.
dark, except so the other colors that you might have been talking about, not for the Bravo, but for the pearl parts, are these three. So
Those
this
are
is the
pretty up in the upper
Splendor.
left. The gold.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah, that's
basis of
pretty.
that,
That's
the
really
basis of
pretty.
that project, of that part of it.
Yeah, that's really
And
Ooh,
pretty.
I
it
You could
works
love
add the
that.
nicely
gem
with,
color.
and it works really
Oh,
nicely
that's really pretty.
with the
That's
Congress
really,
cloth.
really, really pretty. Oh,
Yeah,
that mystery would look beautiful done like that.
So,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
Kathy,
there
like that.
are,
Kathy, is that the
mhm,
linen Congress cloth that you had there?
yes, that is. So the fact that it's draping like that, that's how
Yeah,
you know that it's linen Congress cloth.
yeah, that's
If
what I
this were
wanted to.
It
regular
is.
Congress cloth, it would be standing at attention.
Right, that's what I wanted to
All
call
right.
That's so
attention to. Yeah.
interesting.
All right. So now
Yeah, so
Gary.
I mean, Zweigart made it a number. I mean, I have a project. Okay, I've been stitching for a long time. I have a project I stitched in 1978 when I lived in Southern California for a very brief period of time. That I did a pulled thread piece on, and I loved the fabric. And then fast forward 20 years, Zweigart stopped making it because it was not really popular. It was kind of more expensive, and they just didn't feel like they needed to make it anymore. So they stopped making it about more than 15 years ago. So what I have, based on we sent a picture of the tag that was still encased in plastic. that the bolt came in. I sent it to my person I talked to in Germany at Zweigart, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's the stuff from either the late 70s, early 80s."
Wow.
So it's a really fabulous. It's got a lovely hand to it. It's just so nice to stitch on. Um, so if you
It's a
happen to like
hybrid
Congress cloth,
between
well, and
linen
even so, for those
and
of you
Congress cloth.
who are counted people but have never worked on canvas, Congress cloth, particularly this linen one, is a good thing to do because it gets you into it feels a bit more like what you're used to. It's, close to a 25 count linen, like Dublin. So,
Okay, so is that stiff enough to put on stretcher bars with tacks, or
oh
would you?
yeah,
It is, okay. Or
yeah.
would I be better off on a scroll frame, or it doesn't matter?
I would just put it in a stretcher. For a small piece, I'd put it in stretcher bars. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just working this little strip in hand.
Yeah. Okay.
So it'll work either way. Yeah, it's not going to distort it if you put it on stretcher bars.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
Anyway,
Beth.
All right.
Beth,
so
are you
I'm
going
working. So
Congress
I'm
or?
I'm working on the Congress cloth version. I should have those done in another day or so.
Okay.
Oh, I was going
Particularly
to
now
ask
that
you,
that
Gary, are you
It's a
going
good
that
Congress?
she's
idea.
that Gayanne's given me marching orders to find a more neutral one.
Yeah, you don't have to. I like
Well, I do
white
think I
more,
want to. I do
so
think I want to do something
that's
with
the
this
one.
because I
The
think
Yeah.
one with the
this would
blue.
be.
That one. I
I think
love
this would
that
be
one.
really lovely with the sort of taupey, creamy white
Yeah.
tones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Right.
that will be my project for tomorrow.
Depending on what Kathy does, Beth, that's where I'm at right now.
Is
Oh,
that your
A33?
choice?
Yeah.
All right. I got to look at them all again because I was watching you flip back and
Yeah,
forth.
but that's what's
I'll
your
just wait till
choice.
Kathy.
Yeah, when I
What's
get them
my
done
choice?
and I name them and everything, I'll actually publish them and then you can take a look and see.
Okay.
But that,
Actually, I
yeah.
still am
And
going to go
particularly
back
for
to.
something like this, and particularly for something like, say, the A33, where in this case, the real difference is just the SWA 100. That's an easy enough thread for me to get. Or you could even use Soie d'Alger or some other stranded silk. Is that if you've had something in your stash, or if you said, I kind of like that, but I want to color deeper, or I want to color more like this, then we can pick a different one.
Yeah.
For
I
me,
think I'm going to.
for me doing this for the Congress cloth version was about how easy was it going to be for me to be able to get supplies and do some minor swap outs if I needed to for people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm either left or up or right on this. I can't decide. But
Ah, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's really pretty. I like the
it
neutral.
is.
I like the upper left.
that one that you have there, Kathy, that's all ecru, the one that you were just showing. I'm really curious to see what you're able to do with that. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that I think I can find some really interesting. What I might do with this too is not just um, do it with color, but also do it with maybe some other textures as well. So I'm going to kind of play with what creamy, taupey, off-white kind of things I can find,
right.
so that
Hmm.
some of the what you would use for the color change might come more from the texture element as well.
Yep.
Do you know the other thing? If you put in some 1003 that matches the Congress cloth, and then we ship it
Mm-hmm.
off to Jane Ellen and balsa it, she'll make it into a bold thread piece, which would be really wonderful.
Oh, that would
All
be
the
lovely.
Oh,
negative
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
spaces
I'm pretty sure probably
into
080 probably matches the canvas.
just something close to it, and send it off to
Yeah.
her and say, in all the negative spaces, put in bold thread. And
Oh, I like
she'd
that
do a wonderful
idea.
job.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that
like
would be
that idea too.
fantastic. Oh my
Yeah, I think
goodness.
I'll get her to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to
Yeah.
This
wrap
was
up
really
here.
fun.
Going to wrap up now. Just to recap for everyone, you can get the chart at gayandrogers.com, and then Kathy has all of the combinations she's put together for the 18 count canvas on her website,
Mm-hmm.
so you can order those. and then give a couple days if you're interested in the Congress cloth, and she'll have those options up there. And then so you can order all of that. But the best place to start is to get the chart and instructions at gayannrogers.com. And then
Yep.
there's a link there to get to Kathy's page so that you can decide what threads you want and canvas you want. And then if you need stretcher bars or anything else, of course, Kathy has all that in spades. So that's, you can get it all together. I think the cool thing here that you've done, Kathy, here, I'm going to put us all back on. I think the cool thing here is that this is a project where all of the threads are available. And in the past 2 years, that's been a rarity. So we're going to be able to get these things, and you'll be able to ship them, and
Well,
be
for
able to
the
go to work.
Congress cloth one, yes. There's still a delay in the ones for the 18 mesh because my Kreinik order, originally they told me 3 months. And I managed I explained to them what we were doing, and they're like, well, okay, so 6 weeks. And I went, 6 weeks will work.
Okay.
Because I'm ordering a boatload of all the colors. So,
Yeah. So there might be just some delay for that then. Okay. Excellent.
yeah.
When do we start?
Fine.
As soon as you get your stuff, start. And then we'll have some shows, some live shows, video shows with stitching, and show what we've done and how we're making progress and talk about it. So we'll have that. And then maybe once or twice we'll drag Gayanne or Kathy into it, and
How about both of us?
or just
It's
Gayanne.
fun.
Just Gayanne.
Yeah, because it's fun to have Gayanne.
No.
I was going to say, you can show people how to do the stitches if they get stuck.
Yeah.
Mhm. They can do it up at 1, down at 2. They can use their brains. You guys can show them. I get lectures from my husband all the time about oversimplifying things.
That's okay. That's
It's
okay.
a good thing to
Likes-
do.
So, so we're underway
Yeah.
with this project. Order up your stuff. I haven't ordered mine. I don't know about you, Beth, but
Not yet.
yeah, I got it now.
I have.
With this Congress cloth, I gotta take another look. So I had it all nailed down, and then I even had
I'm
even
so
had
glad I can make your decision harder.
yeah. Now it's a upset apple cart. I even had Marga looking at them when we went out to dinner the other night. Had Marga looking at them, picking out her colorways. So she'll never.
What'd she like?
Cool.
I don't remember. But
Jerry.
Hopefully you took a note somewhere.
no, she won't do it, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, we were looking at them all over
This was
at
a
the
really
restaurant.
fun program.
Yeah.
I had a really good time. Thanks, Kathy.
Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Kathy and Gayanne so much for doing this. It was a lot of fun and fun to see all the combinations. This is a terrific project. Go to gayannrogers.com, get your instructions ordered, get over to needlestack.com, and get your threads and canvas and whatever other supplies you need. If you've never done this stuff, please give it a try, because I hope you got the message. This is not something that technically is difficult at all. It's a lot of fun. It's not a big project. It's not going to take you forever. Gayanne can do an ornament and finish it in 5 hours. Think about that. That means
I think.
10 days for me. So, okay.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 inches by 2 inches something.
Yeah. So it's the cool thing is there's so many variations, so many options. You can go whatever way is going to be most fun for you. You can learn from it and get a project done and not have it hanging over your head if it just isn't a giant project. So
I can see you trying to replicate the pattern in the curtain behind you.
oh, look at that.
Yes.
I hadn't even thought of that.
True. Yep.
In my spare time.
Something
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Gayanne. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday. Order up your stuff if you're going to do it for us. Share. We'll put together a hashtag. We got to come up with a hashtag here, Beth, for this. It'll probably be something like Saint-Tropez. But we'll get that all put together. So get your stuff ordered and underway, and we'll be sharing back and forth over the coming weeks. And Thanks,
wait,
everybody.
we're quick.
Whoop.
What's the dimensions?
The
Of the
canvas is 12 by
piece,
12.
12
The
by
canvas
12,
is
and
12
the
by 12.
design
So,
The
is
so you,
canvas
7
is 12
something
by
by
12.
7.
It's about on 18 mesh, it's about 7.5 inches square.
Okay.
there we
Seven.
go.
Yep. 7.5 by 7.5. Okay.
Not big, not big.
All right. Gayan, don't hang up. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
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 Oh, no. Wait a minute. Say bye again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.